come back. You know what it is.
We're live. What's up, guys?
What it do? What it
Hello.
do?
Okay, so most of you know me. I'm Kristen Johnson. I am the creator of the Light newsletter. It's a letter I started when I was released from incarceration to go back to pour hope and possibility into the girls I was incarcerated with, and it now goes into prisons and rehabs all over the U.S. Um, Together with my co-host who could not make it tonight, Kristen Kline, we are Light Up the Comeback. So we took the Light newsletter and Convicted Comeback, which she's the founder of Convicted Comeback. We take fitness and mindset into Perryville Prison. And we both really align with each other. We started taking the Light into Perryville with the girls with a workout on it. And so she was in the shower one day. This reminds me of a story about you guys. She was in the shower one day and she said, "Hey, I have this idea and it's called Light Up the Comeback." And I was like, yes. So we started doing our show just to tell people about our mission and reentry, recovery. We met in prison, Kristen and I, in 2018. We got out and now we go right back into that same prison. But in the studio, I have my good friends, Blake Mathews and Erik Miller, who are founders. There's also the president. They're not only the president and the vice president of Formerly Intoxicated. I am on the board with them. They are good friends. Let's go,
Hallelujah.
guys.
Let's go. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
What an intro. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody who's joining online as well. If you're here live with us or catching the replay, it's a pleasure. My name is Blake Mathews. I'm here with Erik Miller. So good. So good. Living proof of the fact that redemption is real. Prevention is possible. A big part of what we do is prevention, as you know, trying to get ahead of this thing for the next generation. And recovery. Recovery is for everyone. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm the reentry coordinator in Graham and Greenlee County, and I'm also the recovery. I'm a forensic recovery sports specialist, and we have a great prevention team here. And I've talked to Blake about this as well. Both of you probably that recovery is amazing, but prevention is key. Prevention where it's at. We gotta head this off before it becomes a problem. We need to speak to our kids about the dangers of not only drugs and alcohol, but to pay attention to their mental health, because I believe wholeheartedly that mental health, I don't know how many times, but a lot of times leads to addiction, to problems with substances. I struggled with my mental health off and on, was always just like really hyper. And, alcohol just kind of like mellowed me out somewhat. So prevention is really key. And I want to tell a little story about how I know Blake and Erik. I had been released from prison for about 3 months. When I was in prison, I wanted to start a newsletter to send back into the girls. And when I got out, my brother helped me format it. And he had said a quote at my sentencing: "What is to give light must endure burning." My sister's done some burning, but she has a lot of light to give other people. And I took that back to the yard with me, and that quote stuck with me the whole time I was in prison. So I start this newsletter, send it back into about 40 girls. And when my brother helped me format it, he said, "What would you like to call it?" And I said, "The Light," for sure. So I have these like two little newsletters. Brock Bevel, who's all of our friend, he just reached out to me one day on Instagram. I don't even know how we got connected. Well, I followed him on the Fentanyl Project. And so he started following me, and he just reached out to me one day and said, "Hey, I love how you recover out loud." And we just got to like be friends. And he said, "Hey, I'm having an event called A Night to Prevail, and I'd love for you to come." So I comment before the event, you know, I took my newsletters because Brock and Max Hall were featured in the first one. And I walk up to the table and I say, see, formerly intoxicated. And I was like, man, can I have one of these shirts? And Blake said, you can't have one, but I'll give you one. And while he was out at the car, I started showing Hannah the light. And who knew that these guys are like really so into reentry, recovery, mental health and wellness. So that's how that all came about. We set up a call. They started writing in the light. In the next issue, Erik Miller was featured. And so I went to my first formerly intoxicated Phoenix event and met Erik. And then the rest is like history. Now it's a thing. This is a thing.
So good. Yes, the inception story. And we definitely are into recovery and reentry. I mean, Erik has a testimony and a story of his own of finding success post incarceration. Do you want to share a little bit about from and just share a little bit about the success you found over the last 15 years of being out?
Sure. Yeah, I got released in 2005. And I think I was completely off paper and everything by like the beginning of 2007. But I did 5 years in Department of Corrections. I was in mostly in Buckeye for some of that. I was up in Winslow for a little bit, but mostly I was out there in Buckeye for the majority of my sentence. And really, like my reentry stuff started like day one when I got there. I signed up for everything that they had. I took all the programs, all the, I did all the 12-step meetings that they had. I did all the, recovery stuff that they offered. And when I ran out of stuff to do, I started like creating my own. Me and a couple other guys created a parenting class because we all had like kids that were going to come out too, and we started writing our own curriculum for reentry. We were all teachers' aides and we all worked in the, like the GED program in there. So we had access to, to all the curriculum and all that stuff by working in the library and working in the school. But really, like I don't really know how to do it. When I got out, I kind of just started working right away, and I kind of just white knuckled like reentry and recovery. And it wasn't until like a couple of my friends like OD'd and just ended up not being around anymore. Like all the people that I know that got released either went back or were dead. So I decided to get involved and started volunteering with the Phoenix. And we started a little thing inside the Phoenix called what do we call it? The Justice League. It was
awesome.
Yeah, so it was all of us that worked that were like, justice impacted across the country. So we started doing reentry stuff. I got to be a small part of the Indovo platform for the Phoenix, kind of putting that stuff together and putting them into prisons. And I got to do a little bit of like reentry stuff there. But then when I started working with Barbell Saves is when I really started like being able to go into Department of Corrections facilities and stuff. That was within the last like 5 years, and spent a bunch of time just coaching like CrossFit classes up at Maricopa Reentry Center, and like working on just kind of like linking together reentry stuff in the local community. So, but it's been cool, man. Like I never felt as solid in my reentry as I did when I got involved. Like as soon as I started being a part of the community and being a part of, like sober communities and reentry stuff is when I started feeling good about it. And in the last couple of years, I feel really solid, and like I've got a good career going. I've got a really good thing going here with Formerly Intoxicated, and our community here is super strong. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
That's
so
awesome.
good. So good. I love how.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I love how from the jump when you told me your story, Erik hit the yard and decided like that day, I never want to come back.
It was on the bus.
On the bus. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's right. On the bus ride there, right? Talk a little bit about that. Like you decided that you were gonna do something with your time.
Yeah, I was in I was in Alhambra for, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was an inmate took over one of the towers out in Buck. So there was a hostage situation while I was in Alhambra. And normally you're there for maybe 4 or 5 days while you get transferred out to the yard that you're going to go to. I was there for like 3 months. All of that was going on. So there's no TVs, there's no music, there's no like commissary, there's nothing. You're in a 14-man like holding cell just waiting to get transferred out. We were there for months, dude. Like no rec yard, no nothing. So by the time I actually got out of there and like hit the bus to go out to my unit, I was like, I'm never ever doing this again. And I'm gonna find what I have, whatever it takes to be able to be really solid in that and make sure I don't go back. I knew sobriety was a key. Was a key there for sure.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Blake, how about you? How did you get involved in this whole reentry, recovery space?
It's been a journey. I was first introduced to music and drugs at the age of 13. And throughout my teenage years, those influences lived hand in hand. That was around the same time I was introduced to faith as well. So the three of those things really influenced me throughout my adolescence. And I grew up as a DJ. I didn't really have the normal like jobs growing up. I was just kind of focused on building my first business, learning what it meant to be an entrepreneur. And eventually I decided that I wanted to pursue that as a career. So I moved to Nashville in 2014 and started writing songs and just chasing a dream. Like for me, it was always about chasing something. Like I love the idea of chasing a high, nothing really was ever enough for me when I was living for this world, if that makes sense. And through a series of, people that just kind of came into my life and spoke life into me, eventually I realized I needed help. In 2019, I threw the towel in and waved my flag and said, okay, I need to go to rehab in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was the beginning of my healing journey. But post-treatment, I moved back to Arizona in 2020 and started working in construction. I worked for Sherwin-Williams in sales, actually construction sales, selling paint. And my recovery was just pretty much work. Like that was it. Like I wasn't really going to meetings. I wasn't focused on getting plugged into community. I was just kind of white knuckling it, thinking, okay, I've been through a treatment program. I got out. Now I just want to get back to living my life. When in reality, there was a lot more going on beneath the surface. I had basic human needs like, social connection and community and things that I didn't know where to find those healthy relationships with people that had actually been through the types of things that I was healing from. Okay. So I did relapse during COVID, and just now looking back, I see God's hand in all of it. Like it was a humbling. And eventually I had about 2 weeks sober. This was January of 2022, and a dear friend of ours, Hannah, that writes for The Light as well, invited me to go on a hike at Piestewa Peak. And it was probably about 4:45 in the morning, just crack of dawn. I'm like, what am I doing up right now? At the time, we had not started the Changemaker Challenge. We were not doing 5 a.m. consistently. So she drugged me out of bed, and I went to the mountain, and Erik was standing at the bottom of the mountain. I'd never met him. Like this was just a brand new guy, and his shirt said recovery on it. So I just went up to him. I'm like, wow. Man, I'm newly sober. I'm trying to figure this thing out. And he invited Hannah and I to go hiking with him. It was a hike that he led through the Phoenix. And that was the beginning of our friendship, a slow burn that over the course of the next, 3.5 years up to where we are today, we've just been letting the Spirit lead, like just taking it one day at a time. And now we've since incorporated a nonprofit, formerly Intoxicated, that is dedicated to sharing that message that redemption is real, prevention is possible, and that recovery is for everyone. You don't have to have struggled with substances to benefit from what recovery has to offer you. You know, SAMHSA says that the Substance Use and Mental Health Services Administration says that recovery is a process by which individuals improve their health and wellness, strive to live self-directed lives, and achieve their full potential. And we kind of joke, you know, everybody and their mama should be able to get down on recovery. Like, if you want to live a better, healthier life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of these things, we stand 10 toes on the fact that recovery is for everyone. It's not just for those who are recovering from substance use or trauma. Like, everybody has a place in recovery, and we're here to use music and healing arts and multimedia to spread that message and include whoever wants to come along for the journey.
For sure. And we're all healing from something. And that's, I talk to my daughter about that sometimes. She's never had a substance use disorder, but, you know, she struggled with some other things. And everybody needs recovery, and support and connection is key. You know, we have the Sunrise program, which is a reentry program here in my community. And it's been really successful in the fact of the people that we've had that have maintained sobriety, or, you know, you always can't be 100%, and people, I've had meetings from people on LinkedIn that have been like, I love what you're doing. I love what you post. And we've had these meetings. And as for a blueprint, I can't share it with them because we literally operate on support and connection. We're heavy in with the Phoenix, which I want to talk to you about. We brought the Phoenix to Graham County, and we have Phoenix events, and we base our whole thing is like, we operate on support, connection. We're a sober community. We believe in all pathways to recovery. You know, everybody's welcome there. And I love the Phoenix. I love the Phoenix. And we recently had Hannah come down. We're planning a walk to remember and honor those that we've lost to addiction and bring awareness. We're planning that in August. I really hope you guys can come out, because I went to Peggy's Walk to Fight, which was sponsored by the Phoenix 2 years ago, J&M Walk to Fight. And that was just amazing. But this last year at J&M Walk to Fight, there was a lot of people from my community. And unfortunately, I don't want to get too emotional on this, but this year, unfortunately, I had a child that was on that sign, on those signs, you know, and there were so many people from our community. And yes, there's a guy on here. Later, we're going to go back and we can answer comments afterwards. I have a friend I met on LinkedIn. His name is Troy McCord, and he's from Colorado, and he is interested in the Phoenix, and we got to get him hooked up there, because we know that's where it originated, right, Erik? That's where it started.
Yeah, it started in like Boulder, in the Denver Boulder area.
So I got invited to the Phoenix, and it was a formerly Intoxicated tour, and we were already like several months into the light. So that was the first time I really, really met everybody again after that. And I took these copies, and Blake called me up on stage, and I was like, I don't know what this whole Phoenix thing is, but this is awesome. I love this. So I come back, and we're having phone calls, and I said, I would really love, hi from Colorado. There's people on here from Colorado. I'd really love to bring this to my community. Yeah. And we have literally had, is that your mom?
Yeah.
We love you, Mom.
I knew it. I recognize her name from other.
Hallelujah.
And talking about she actually started the chapter in Hawaii, and was leading like beach cleanups out there, and now that chapter is still going strong. So shout out, good job, Mom.
Good job, Mom. Hi, Shay. I love you too. So now we have all these Phoenix members in Graham County, and like I said, we're planning our overdose awareness event. But we're also in Sunrise. We've incorporated a holistic approach to reentry and recovery. I was able to start something called the Light Project that goes into Safford Prison. We haven't been back in since Christmas, but we will eventually get back in. There's been a changing of the administration here, so it's just a whole thing. But we would take sound bowls and yoga, some breath work, some journaling workshops in there, because we started it. My friend Stacy does it. You've met Stacy at Sunrise and with the guys at the House of Hope. And these guys from the House of Hope, they're all fresh out of prison, and the first time I'm like, we're going to do a sound bath. And here they come in, a lot of them had done a substantial amount of time. And I just wasn't sure. And they loved it. The guys at Fort Grant love it. So I know with the Phoenix, we do a lot of holistic things. Talk about the walk we just did, Erik, and that the Phoenix put on and Formerly Intoxicated put on that we were able to do that day just recently.
Yeah. I have been contracting with the Phoenix for a while now. I used to be full time with them. Now I'm just a contractor for like some special events. But I have been contracting with a good friend of mine who overdosed recently, and wanted to put something together to kind of honor his memory a little bit. We had planned on him coming out and doing some like mountain biking and hiking and camping and stuff in Arizona. And I was like, to do something out in nature, just kind of in his memory. And then another thing that Scott Strode does is on hikes, he'll have people carry a rock with them. At the start of the hike, we'll grab a rock and just kind of like carry it with as a token of that person's memory. And then we stack them up at the end. So we wanted to do something like that here in Arizona. And Dreamy Draw is just a beautiful mountain park with amazing trails in a good spot right in the middle of Phoenix. So we just put together a little, not even really, I guess it was a hike, but it was more like just a nature walk and a chance to kind of socialize and chat with people instead of like some of the hikes where, we're grinding up the mountain a little bit. It gets a little harder to talk. This was more just like a social event, kind of a nature walk. But really cool vibes, amazing people that came out to support that, and just good feelings all around. Like we had some people that really resonated with them to be out in nature and remember the loved ones that they lost, and to be in a community with a group of people that can all relate on that level somehow. I think is really important, just to kind of share those memories and the emotions and the experience with each other. So we'll do more of that for sure.
For sure. I know on one of our last meetings, we were like, hey, let's get some more Formerly Intoxicated stuff going. We made a conscious decision in 2026 to not only do more things with Formerly Intoxicated, but have Formerly Intoxicated become more involved in the light. We'd like to incorporate Formerly Intoxicated more. We've got some cool stuff we're talking about working on, like some lyric submissions, some art submissions. And, in 2026, we're going to bring all that to light. I just want to tell everybody, we are kind of new to StreamYard. So when you public and when we comment back, it comments from every platform, but it is one of us. So it comments from every platform we're streaming from, but it's okay. One of the things
we love you to the max.
Yes. One of the things that I really enjoyed about that hike too is I can't remember like what the issue was, but I had something planned the day before and I couldn't go. And it was early in the morning. We needed to be there. And Terry's like, I was like, I really want to go. And we had something later on and Terry's like, get in the truck. I'll take you. So we leave super early because didn't it start at 8 or 9?
Yeah, it was not a midday hike. It was a morning one for sure.
Right. So we drove up there. First of all, I asked Terry if he would go on the hike with me. And it was kind of a joke, but he was like, oh, heck no, not doing it. Don't even, I'll sit right here. So, but the important thing, we got back in the car and came right back. But I was really glad that I was called to go. And it was just kind of special that he went with me because your friend's parents were there and I was able to speak with them and I was able to, because this is fresh for them. It's only been a year for us. And I was able to hug them and relate with them, pray with them. Losing a child, losing anyone is really hard, but my parents have lost 2 children. My sister lost her oldest son, and not necessarily to overdose, but to drug related problems. My family's just my first husband. My family's been really rocked by addiction. I have done a substantial amount of time in jail, prison, only made it to rehab once, but it it was my saving grace, because if I wouldn't have made it to rehab, I wouldn't have made it to prison. People could not believe that I was going to check myself into rehab for the 90 days leading up to prison. But I was at the end of my rope, had nowhere to go. I knew I wasn't going to make it to prison either by death, or I was going to run and be, at least I still had the foresight to know that, because so heavy in my addiction and so heavy in my alcoholism. And, then when I would be drinking alcohol, I would just do random other drugs or what, just half the time I didn't even remember. So I did spend that time in rehab, and I had a few weeks after I got out to go to prison, and I was able to go to some meetings. And I don't know. No, I do know I wouldn't have been able to maintain sobriety, because, and I've talked about this a lot, literally every time I drank, because it was in my mind, I was never going to prison. Like, I was sentenced, and I still have another case out there, like 12 years, but I was never going. Like, I was going to run. I drank. Every time I drank, this is horrible, I drank to die. And I always say I wasn't suicidal, but I was just like, if I drink this much, I just won't have to wake up, won't have to worry about prison, because won't be there. Well, guess what? Went to rehab. And I just remember I'd gotten really active in recovery. And when they take me back, when they sentence me and take me back, I just said the serenity prayer over and over and over. Then I go to prison. This is a similar story to you, because they had just moved RNA from Lumley to Maria. And for some reason, I get caught there for 36 days. The CO4 took away all the books for some reason. The only book that we could get a hold of was the Bible, and it was only part of it. And it was Santa Biblia. It wasn't even in English. So my little roommate, her name was Crystal. She spoke Spanish, so she could read the Bible to us. That's all we had. And I told her about recovery. And so she said when she gets out, she was going to get the serenity prayer. And so, we go to our own prospective yards, like obviously lose track of each other. Several years later, I'm on the track at Rosa, and I hear her saying, Santa Biblia, Santa Biblia. And she's a little tiny thing. We run over and we hug each other. And it was just a really cool reunion. And I was at an event recently at the Koch Center, and the chaplains were right next to me. And I look over and it says Santa Biblia. And I told Kristen Kline, I was like, oh, you have no idea how just that, seeing that Bible, resonates with me, because 36 days in solitary, we only got out. I mean, it wasn't solitary because there was two of us, but like you said, 2 or 3 days. I don't know how people do an extended length of time locked down like that, because it's really, I knew right then, I was like, I thought, I was like, okay, you have to do this, but I don't know if I can do this. But we did it, and here we are. And
that's right.
What brought us together was formerly Intoxicated. I was like, that's a cool shirt. And then the newsletter, and that's kind of what this is all about. So Blake and I had a meeting about the light and how to go forward with it, because in Arizona, they've changed the mailing. You can't mail any paper into the prisons in Arizona. So we were just talking about it, and we had done formerly Intoxicated podcast, Kristen and I, and he said, let's do, we all wanted to do one together. And so we kind of wanted to present the light live. And so I'm going to pop it up here really quick. The light is like a labor of love. And this is issue 25. Only recently, Blake's always been like, and Hannah both, we'll help you however we can. And I'm just like, send that article formatted. And just recently, here we are. I think they came in on issue 3. And Blake was like, why don't you just share your Canva with us, and we'll put our own. And we're like, yeah, great. That will give us some more, creative liberties. And so this one was really cool. I'm going to read the first page. It says, hey, everybody. So the last issue of The Light went completely electronic. Here in Arizona, there is no paper mail in prison anymore. And honestly, I was kind of bummed because they could no longer open it and hold it in their hands. That's always been very important to me. But having the light on my tablet has also been my goal. So I decided I could either create or complain, because I was having a really hard time doing both at the same time. I chose to be a creator and build. I started a Sober Flower Girl podcast. Here we are. Woo! Really organic and authentic, with my laptop and a ring light, and with the encouragement of my support system. I surround myself with creators and builders, and they inspire me. I started the Sunrise Project and this new newsletter the same way. I start, I struggle, and I build. Brick by brick, I lay a foundation. Sometimes it's shaky, but I build anyways. My people are all builders and all creators, and many of them are in this issue. We started again after incarceration and or addiction. We created nonprofits, brands, businesses, families with no blueprint or no applause and no perfect timing, but we built anyways. When we were tired, we'd build anyways. Doubtful, we'd build anyways. And when no one is watching, we build anyways. That's when the real foundations are laid. Use what you have and move through the messy. Surround yourself with other builders. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team. But you don't have to build alone because nobody is coming to save you and they don't need to because you're powerful enough to save yourself. And I'm always here for it. As always, you guys can reach out to me. Let's go, love Kristen, because and I do have people reach out to me. My address is here. I sometimes just get one weekend. We came back from the weekend. I had 15 letters. I picked this up. I think I texted you, Blake. It was we had a call the other day, and Terry brought this to me from the mail, and it says Kristen, Hannah, and Blake on it, the light, and it has a little drawing on it. But from the anniversary issue, I didn't ask Hannah and Blake or anybody to write a letter because I wanted to write a letter to them or write an article. I wanted to write like how I met them and so this is really cool. This is the effect the light's having on people.
Beautiful.
Let me see. Yes, I'm going to skip over to, if I know how, I'm just going to skip over to slide 2. Also, this is a very inspiring story. If anybody wants the light, just put it in the chat and I will put them on the mailing list. But this is about Jason and Sarah and Ronald Alessi. I met them right after I got out. I had one newsletter and I don't even think I met Jason, but I went down to Thomas Sweets and I showed it to them and toured their facility. And that was that. And then after that, several months down the road, they reached out to me. They were on the Sunrise page and they're like, hey, you got to come to our podcast. And then I've just gotten friends with them. They have a great podcast and they now have desert recovery centers. And I was on that podcast. And so I was really grateful to them for being a part of it. Let's go over to page 3, Blake, and I'm going to let you talk about your page. Let me get to it though. I'll have to get it to it like this. Hold on. There you go.
Absolutely. What an honor. The article, this issue, this is what, issue 12 or 18 or?
No, this one is 25 in addition. Yeah, it's 25.
Come on, run the numbers up. This to come up, best believe, before the sun is up. Let him
Run it.
No, Kristen came out the gates, just swinging. She released these newsletters and just like she said she was going to do, and what an honor to be a part of them. This issue, the title of this article is called From Childish Ways to Change Makers. I'll just go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
Let's get one thing straight. Who you are is so much deeper than what you've done or what has been done to you. There comes a time on our road to recovery where we have to decide what is worth holding on to and what needs to be let go of. For some of us, it's labels like addict or inmate, felon or failure, victim or too far gone. For others, it's people, places, or things. But Scripture reminds us if anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Do you believe it? If not, are you willing to try it? I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I can model what I did to find a better way to live. For me, the new way of life has been about so much more than just putting the substances down. It's been about shedding identities that no longer belong to me. It's been about laying down shame and picking up purpose. It's been about learning to see myself the way he sees me, chosen, redeemed, and called, and learning to lead with faith, hope, and love, regardless of how anyone else is walking. Being a change maker is not about demanding respect, attention, or authority. It's about living by example and lighting a fire in your brother or sister through the way that you choose to show up day in, day out. In closing, I want to reiterate, who you are is so much deeper than what you've done. If you desire freedom, ask and you shall receive, but know that it will require a sacrifice of who you used to be. With faith, hope, and love. Blizzy Blake on the beat.
Yes, that's amazing. You guys, I also want to add that Blake is an amazing musician, and you got to go on Spotify and check out some of his music. I listened. I was speaking to him the other day, and I was like, "Oh, your song just came on right between Jason Aldean and Kanye West." So you
That was
fit.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was
for
cool.
that.
We're talking and it came on. Yeah. So Sober House Records. I'm gonna have him talk about a little bit about that as soon as we go through the light. I'm gonna go right next to this next slide. So she's a founder of Sober House Records, a co-founder, right, Blake?
Yeah. Hannah was there from the beginning.
Yeah. And so Hannah was there that night, and Hannah's came down for a Phoenix event. Hannah's a dear friend of mine. She's been in the ever since the third issue. She's been in the light. She has something. Her third page, the fourth page, and it's usually always the back page. It's called Food for Thought, and she's really into holistic approaches as well. And this one was really cool because it talks about spirit, the periodic table of fitness, hits on the mind, hits on exercise. Like this is she has a full embodiment of everything you could need to follow for this month. Hannah has in here. So it's written by, and she's also an artist. She goes by Tinka Hannes, and she's amazing as well. The next page is Convicted Comeback is something that I met Kristen Kline in prison, and her wife and the other two girls that we were very first from the start. Her wife and her started Convicted Comeback, which takes, yeah, we are, Kevin, that takes fitness and mindset back into the women's prison. When I'm like big on TikTok. I'm like scrolling TikTok one day and I see a picture of her and I was like, hold on. And so I reach out to her and I tell her about the light, and she said, you got to send me a copy. And then she's like, I'm trying to do this thing called Convicted Comeback. And I'm like, I'm in. They had already started it, but we hadn't gone in yet. And so we did our first Convicted Comeback in July, must have been of, 2025. It's like 112 degrees. Our friend Julie said, what other person can ask you, like, do you want to go work out in 112? And how crazy do you have to be for all of us to be like, I'm in. So we did that, and we got to see a lot of girls that we were incarcerated with. We work out with girls that are never getting out. The reason we got to 25, Blake, is I would do a special issue. I was in there 6 times for the girls that we went to Perryville for, and we'd always include a monthly workout from Chris, and we'd include a yoga flow. Well, recently DOC has gone completely paperless. I mean, it's a paperless world, right? And there's other reasons to the drugs that were coming in. And anyways, so we weren't able to take in the newsletter anymore, which is kind of bummed out for them. They all get it. A lot of them get it anyways, but they couldn't get the workouts. So I asked Kristen if she would just write a little, put the workout in there and just speak a little bit about, because I'm always having new people and we want to spread the mission of Convicted Comeback. We also have a girl that we were incarcerated with named Samantha, and it's always kind of crazy. She's done a substantial amount of time, and I was incarcerated with her a long time ago. And it's always something different when you look up and you see somebody you know that has gone home, but they're back. And she said the first time she looked up and saw that, she had a lot of guilt and shame, but she did the classes anyways. She's out now. She's doing amazing. We were first able to get out with her right when she got out and work out with her. She's definitely a part of Convicted Comeback. So every issue that I would take into Perryville, we'd have her do a little update because the girls love seeing somebody that they were just recently incarcerated with. So we did have her put in a little article as well. You guys, everybody in the chat that I see, I will add you to the mailing list. So yeah, that's the light. It's the love of, like I say, it's a labor of love, but it's something that I'm so proud of. And aside from the Sunrise Project and my children and my family, it's something that means so much to me. And I really appreciate all the people that have been in it. I've had some amazing people in it. They've all either been incarcerated or they have been struggled with, a lot of times both, struggled with incarceration and addiction. I'm going to pop this back off so we can get back on there. I love this StreamYard platform. We're learning a lot of things, but the light has really been an amazing part of my life. And it brings a lot of light, obviously, to a lot of people. So.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you for including us in it.
Blake,
we're honored to be a part of
share
it.
just a little bit about Sober House.
Say that one more time. You said what?
I just want to say a little bit about Sober House Records, because this one, no, Sober House.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sober House Records is a independent record label and production company dedicated to producing and promoting artists who are sober and passionate about mental health and recovery. So we're a faith-based label. We produce multimedia content just to inspire people on their road to redemption. Sober House and Formerly Intoxicated they have a relationship. Sober House is kind of like the granddaddy of Formerly Intoxicated. It came first. And when we were exploring what to call our first tour, our first recovery tour in 2024, Erik had a dream, and the name Formerly Intoxicated came to him as a brand for the tour. This idea of, hey, we can shed that identity of the addict and step into this next chapter of redemption. So Sober House has been here to kind of support Formerly Intoxicated getting off the ground. We like to think of Formerly Intoxicated as the movement. It's this sober music and mental health movement. And Sober House Records is the production company, the studio, and yeah, like the granddaddy of the nonprofit. So yeah, that's a little bit about Sober House, and we've got some records coming out this year. I mean, we've been dropping one single every month. At the end of last year, we dropped Childish Ways, giving up our childish ways, right? So many of us have picked up habits or different things that no longer serve us. So the music is here to just kind of inspire people to live, better lives. The song that we dropped in January, forgive me, the song that we dropped in January is called Changemaker. I think it's time we make a change. Wake up, 5 a.m. Come on now. Yes. 5 a.m. we get our faith.
So good.
We're swinging our legs up out of bed for something greater. We walk by the Spirit, keep it simple like a layup. We're praying for our brothers on the streets still getting faded. We run the numbers up just to come up, best believe before the sun is up. I'm on my knees thanking God for filling my cup, overflowing abundantly. Keep that scripture in front of me. Let the picture develop so you can see what it's gonna be. Got a vision inside of you, but a vision ain't nothing if it ain't living and giving. Give them your first fruits and check on your alignment. In that secret place, I call upon the Lord for guidance. I was high off of praise, but still sleeping through my days. I knew something had to change. I didn't know the way. So I found the way. I found the truth. I found the life. And I had to shed the identity of the addict. I had to put that chapter behind me, which didn't make sense to me for a long time. Erik kind of challenged me just when he shared his perspective on recovery, like, to each their own. I know in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, which, as you heard, Erik and I are both acquainted with those rooms. It's very common to say, hey, my name is Blake and I'm an alcoholic, but we like the term Formerly Intoxicated because it honors that chapter of like, hey, this happened. But like we were saying earlier, it doesn't have to define you. So the nonprofit, the record label, the production company, all of that is just these are all just different vehicles that we're using to help lead people back to the truth and to find freedom and new life and recovery.
And I think the reason why music is so important is it's another thing that we don't always think about it, but it's another thing that we're consuming, right? It's another thing that's like getting into our brain and affecting us on a bunch of different levels. So just the kind of the thought process behind paying attention to what's going on in the lyrics of the things that you're listening to and what you're putting into your brain, directly in through your eardrums, it matters. Just like the substances that you're putting in, just like the food that you're ingesting, all of the things that you're putting into your system are important. Music is a key component of that as well.
And one of the things that we're doing to capitalize on what Erik's saying, just really taking responsibility for the content that we're ingesting, if you will. Erik has launched a meditation series that you guys can find on our YouTube channel. It's called Guided Meditations for People in Recovery, Music, and Mental Health. There's a couple of them on there now, but we just want to produce content and inspire people to realize that there's a different way. We found a better way to live, and we're never here to force anything on anyone. We're just kind of here to plant seeds and invite anybody who's interested in exploring what it might look like to choose that healthier path.
Yeah, for sure. And we have more things coming up in 2026 for the light. And I spoke about this a bit before, and Formerly Intoxicated. We're going to be putting more content on the Adobo tablet to reach more. The other day, Blake and I were talking about it, and we said, God willing, not God already made it happen, because I already made a conscious decision, regardless of what happens, I'm putting it on the tablet. So that's happening. Yeah, God did that, Hey, Robert Picard's on here. What up, Bobby? He's always down to support. I love you guys.
A little bit. You said, yeah, God did that.
Yeah, do that. Yes.
Hold on. I want you guys to see this. So
zoom in.
We found these. So this feels odd.
Go
Can you
back.
see him? There we go.
Tell the story a little bit.
Yeah. So I rolled the dice. I bet on God, and that saved my life. We walk by faith and not by sight. What up, Robert?
Yes.
Welcome to the chat. So, long story short about these dice, is I was at a friend's birthday party, and was sitting next to this music producer that I grew up with, and he invited me to come by his studio. It had probably been it'd been a while since I'd seen him, so flashing forward a couple steps just to save on time, I'm in his studio, and there's this pair of dice that are just sitting on the console, but the dice say God on every side. So I pick up the dice and I start rolling them. I'm just rolling them on, and I can't put them down. I must have rolled these dice a few hundred times by the time we were done with our session. And I accidentally took them home with me. I stole the dice. I didn't just roll the dice. I stole the dice. So I called him the next day. I was like,
dice.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I stole the dice, bro. And he's like, no, you did, you thief. He's just joking, but anyways, flash forward, quite some time, about a year goes by, and it's put on me to there's this song that's kind of coming out of me, and it goes, I rolled the dice, yeah, I bet on God, and that saved my life, yeah. We walk by faith and not by sight. Okay, I testify for you. Yeah. Deliver from the fire. Ooh. But I had to let it burn. Let it burn. Yeah. He's taking my desires, be gone. Ooh. There's a lesson to be learned. Let him learn. I'm giving up my childish ways. The things I thought I wanted, they just don't hit the same. So that's the abridged version. But now we worked with a supplier to make the dice. So we do have the dice available. You can get them on the website. BlakeMathewsMusic.com. I think if you go to formerlyintoxicated.com or soberhouserecords.com, it routes there too. So if you want a reminder that God is real and he is with you, he will never leave nor forsake you, and he's here to help you accomplish your plans and purposes in your life. Yeah, that's a thing. Trying to get this in focus. This is awkward.
You're fine. Hey, you guys, we have some awesome merch too on that page, just to do a little plug, but we do. That is, says Formerly Intoxicated on it, and Sober House Records, because there's people on this chat that have literally asked me for that shirt. And so now it's available again on the Formerly Intoxicated. Yeah, it's been awesome to have you guys on here. You guys, what's some Phoenix events we have going on coming up, or some? I think we got some formerly intoxicated stuff we're doing coming up, right? There it is. There it is.
Yeah, we're our goal this year is to do at least one fellowship event or community oriented event per month. So like Erik said, we did the Walk of Remembrance in January for those that we've lost to overdose and addiction. We just did our photography walk here in February. In March, we haven't talked about this yet. Do we have?
Yeah, we're working on it's funny you were talking about sound bath earlier. We're working on a sound bath, guided meditation, and breath work thing. There's a bunch of details that we still need to work out, but we've got a couple people that have like offered to be a part of that. So we're working on that next event. So coming soon, details will be popping up everywhere.
And we do have an event coming up at the Barbell Saves Project. Erik and I are both giving a little public speech, like sharing our story as a part of this Present You event with Tanisha Baca at the Barbell Saves Project.
Life after the story begins.
Life after the story begins, yes. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, and even for, like Troy, you said you're out in Colorado, or anybody who's catching this replay. If you don't live in Phoenix or you don't live in Arizona, hop on the New Form app. There's tons of stuff available online. Like if you guys just go to newform.com, or I think it's .org. If you go to New Form in your app store, you should be able to find it. You download it. It's a mental health and well-being app that you can download. You put your zip code in, and there's tons of great events and ways to connect online as well. So if you feel like you're not really sure where to get started, start there. Download the New Form app, tap in with the Phoenix, follow us, follow the podcast, and just reach out to connect, because we're definitely here to encourage you on your road to recovery, whether you're in Arizona or to the ends of the earth. We're here for it.
Amen. Yeah, I'm super grateful for you guys being on. I'm grateful for everybody in the chat. I always go through and answer all the questions I can at the end. On this platform, the comments from LinkedIn don't show up, so I always like to go back. I see we have quite a few people on LinkedIn, and I've made some really great contacts on LinkedIn and people that have asked me to be on podcasts. And I just wanted to mention really quickly that I had a woman reach out to me recently, April, and she said, hey, I'm part of something that's, we tell the stories of Christian leaders. And she did an article with me on the Freedom Factor. I think I might be one of the only ones that's been incarcerated, but I love how even on LinkedIn, my faith is able to show through. And I think that's something that's been being aligned with Formerly Intoxicated and Blake, and has really brought me more back around into my faith, because there it is. If you guys want to read it. Yeah. She really wants me to connect you to her, Blake. She'd love to hear your story. So I'm going to do that. But we will be going back through the chat and answering questions. There's more to come from Formerly Intoxicated in the link. I am part of the Formerly Intoxicated family. I think I met Blake and Hannah not that long after Erik had met them. Really, honestly, I met them in December of 2024. I'd only been out a few months. So I feel like this was all, I don't really like to use the word serendipity, but it's definitely God played a hand in this whole thing for sure. Like,
well, for sure, you were part of the family from the jump, for sure.
And we're, I'm gonna just throw this out there because it's definitely ordained. We're in talks with Brock from the Fentanyl Project about doing another event, probably in the third or fourth quarter of this year. That's going to be a great event. So we're just pulling some things together for that. I'd love to do it at the Mesa Arts Center again. That was a beautiful venue.
Hey, Brock, that's what brought us together.
Yeah. Shout out Brock. Thank you, Lord, for Brock. Brock is great. So what do you think? Any closing thoughts or closing comments?
Yeah, well, one more quick thing about Brock. So I got to be really good friends with him. He talked me into being driving the Formula Intoxicated the van to an event, and Erik's like, "How did you get on there?" But I just want to thank everybody for showing up and supporting, and there's more to come from us for sure, you guys.
You know that's right. K95 with the smooth hits on air with light up the comeback. No, I'm just kidding.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
No, it's so
all right,
good.
you guys, we'll definitely be back. We'll be doing this again.
Well,
for
thank
sure.
you for having. Can we close out with a song? Can we just play a song that'll ring out?
Close it. My daughter's on here. Shout out, Presley.
Yeah, we're gonna play the little Jericho Walls remix, the newest one that just came through today. Ooh-wee. This is an exclusive preview. Jericho Walls remix. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Fire.
Now you get to watch Kristen jam out to the record.
No.
Hey. No, okay. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Let's stay free together forever. Let's stay free together forever, forever, ever, ever.
Love you guys. Peace.